What is going on, everyone? I am Josh with 625 Media, and it is Vlog Sunday. The month is almost over, so we're going to talk stats, talk lessons, and what I'm thinking for the next quarter of operations. It's from the attic. And welcome to this last Sunday of September. It doesn't feel like September. The leaves haven't changed yet. But fall is soon, and soon after fall is winter, and I, for one, am not looking forward to that. I don't like driving in the snow. I hate it. Especially when you commute. Oh, it's awful. Terrible. But, yes, we are here to talk about what happened this week, what happened this month. Now, we're not going to go over grades yet, because as of the time of this recording, we still have a couple days left in the month, so anything can happen. But next week, we'll talk grades and how we did with most of our goals. But this week, just a little bit of an update on where we are. And then we're going to talk about the future a little bit. I know I've said that before, and we've done that. But a change in mindset is what is coming here for what we're doing and how we're looking at our progress. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a look at our progress so far. So, exciting news this week. Blog views, month to date for the month of September, 555. Triple fives. That's where we are with 2 days left in the month. So, that means we met our blog view goal for the month of September. Yay! Here's the thing, though. It's all due to share threads. 100%. I can guarantee that. Looking at the stats, looking at my activities. So yes, we can celebrate the fact that we had enough views this month to meet our goals, and actually had almost 200 more views this month than we did last month. Which, okay, that's progress, and we should feel good about it because our efforts directly impacted that. But was it the right effort, and do I not feel a little guilty on the inside? Because I still feel like it's a little cheaty. But knowing that we met those goals, okay, I know that I can do that through various means. I am looking at a different type of goal for the month of October, and we're going to talk about that at length later. T-shirt revenues. I'm not going to skip it this week because it's $0, and we're going to be renewing our focus in October. And I think with our mindset change that we're going to undergo for the second quarter, just to see if that helps with all of the actual side hustles. We'll see. Voiceovers. So I auditioned for one audiobook this week and one independent project that I found on Facebook. I did get a second response from one of the audiobooks I auditioned for last week, and unfortunately, they will not be hiring my services. But that's okay. Again, as I said last week, we're auditioning. That's what's important. We're actually making the effort moving forward. Excuse me, I have an itch. And then I've made the decision to no longer include user testing in our stat wrap-up because we hardly ever talk about it, and we only talk about it here on Vlog Sunday, so there's really no benefit to you. So there's no need to talk about it. Now, if I start talking about it a little bit more, maybe we can include it again, or I can include it in some other content. But it's just not serving a purpose at this point for you guys. I'm still doing it. In fact, I had a pretty good day on Thursday and Friday as far as the number of tests that I was able to take. So numbers kind of changed a little bit from what we talked about in the previous week. But we're not going to be talking about it much at all anymore. So that's where we are. Yay for the blog. So let's take a look at what I've learned. So the lessons from last week. I need to focus on different types of social media groups. Now, we've talked about social media groups and the fact that I'm part of just general blogger groups because I'm running a blog or a vlog, however you want to characterize it. It is a repository of articles and videos that I am posting about content. Not to say anything bad about these types of blogs, because these types of blogs are very useful to many, many people. but I'm not a travel or fashion or mom blogger. I'm just not. And that's what I'm finding in the majority of these groups. So I don't know that I'm really in the right place. It doesn't mean that I'm going to totally stop using these resources, because I think they're still good resources, but I don't know that my content necessarily fits. I guess you could say it fits with the side hustle, but the focus of my content is just not gelling with theirs. So we're going to consider some different moves there. Recycling content may be in the future. You see bloggers do this a lot. They might update content and repost it as something new, or they might take part of something else that they've created and create several different blog posts out of it. It's a technique that works very well. And I find that with Vlog Sunday, much of the second half of this is nothing but commentary on some certain aspect that I'm dealing with as far as the side hustles go, whether it be the blog or the voiceovers or the content creation. I feel like it's useful information that, because this is such a long piece of material, may get lost. So I'm going to be going back through the 11 other episodes that I've created so far. It's hard to believe we've done this 12. This is the 12th week we've done this. And looking at the second half of those and seeing what useful content I can get out of that to repost, to make sure that people actually see those things, because I think the messages there could be useful. And if you're not seeing it because you don't want to sit for a half hour, it's getting lost, and I'm losing some of the usefulness of what I'm doing. Setting so many goals for the month was not a good idea. So it was a good idea to set goals. But I think we got very ambitious, not only with the goals that we set, but the number that we set. We set goals for every little thing. And while that's good to help us gauge where we are, I don't think it was good in a productive way. There was just so many different little pieces that we had to try to focus on that I just couldn't. And it's not because, I got caught up it was because I physically couldn't put in the effort. If I were employed somewhere, I wouldn't have a very good review for the last month, because I think I only met 2 goals out of the entire month of September at this point. So we're definitely going to be rethinking that, and we're going to talk about that at length here in just a few moments. So those are the lessons that we learned last week. So real quick, and I mean real quick, because there's not a ton to talk about, we're going to look at social media, just because we've been tracking it all month. And here's where we are as we try to wrap up the month of September. Excuse me. Wow. Not a lot of movement. And I think we hit a plateau because of the efforts that we were making this month. Our efforts were really, it was really about blog views and getting some auditions out. So Facebook, no gain. We're still at 86. Twitter, we did gain 3 followers, so we were at 45, just shy of our goal of 50, but definitely the big winner for the month. I'm happy with the Twitter gains. Even though we didn't meet the goal, we got, compared to where we were, we grew tremendously. Instagram, we actually lost a follower. We're at 47 for the month. Pinterest, no gain. YouTube, no gain. And Mix, no gain. So I'm gonna be looking at that just to see if there's anything else that I can see. But I can tell you right now, the effort wasn't there, and it's not because I said forget social media. There's a lot more involved in growing a social media following than just posting some things and hoping people like it. So as we move forward with our goals for October and for the third quarter, or I should say the fourth quarter, our second quarter, really more strategy goals is what we're going to be looking at as far as social media and everything else. So that's where we stand. I don't see that changing much. So we didn't meet our social media goals either. Twitter, again, big winner. So, we can take one positive out of that. It would definitely be Twitter. But we've got a lot of work to do when it comes to Pinterest, YouTube, and Mix. So, enough about where we were or where we are. Let's talk about where we're going. Because if we're constantly stuck in the moment when it comes to our side hustles, which we should be in the moment when we're really doing the things that we want to do. Like if I'm auditioning for a voiceover part, I need to be in that moment. I can't be thinking about 3 days from now. I need to be in that moment. But when I'm thinking about the overall success of everything, it's definitely something that we want to look forward. We want to look at, I just covered my, dramatic lighting. Shiny objects. We definitely want to look forward, and just setting number goals is not going to get us looking forward. It's going to give us something to reach for, but it's not helping us plan to move through the next few months. It's just giving us some kind of benchmark that we need to hit, and we're getting caught up in the, I need to meet this number, I need to meet this number, I need to meet this number. So it's really going to be more about strategy and what kind of processes, what kind of systems, what kind of activities do we get ourselves involved in to better align with strategy rather than to better climb a hill to a number, to an artificial number that we've set, because we feel we can get there. A little bit more about that here in a minute. Excuse me. Wouldn't be Vlog Sunday. Yeah, it's a different cup. This is like one of my favorite coffee cups. I know the light's kind of blown it out, but it's got like these dimples on it. It's just, it's pleasing to touch. It's satisfying. I don't know. So is the coffee. I mean, that's always one of my favorites. So social media goals definitely won't be won't be so focused on next month. It'll be more about strategy to grow. The first quarter is done. We have been in operation for one quarter. It aligned with the third quarter conveniently. So we're heading into the fourth quarter. And as October comes, I definitely need to focus more on voiceover. I've started to make that switch here in the last week or two. So that's good. I'm feeling good about that. I'm actually getting my voice out there, putting my name out there, putting myself out there, saying, hey, I'd like to give this a shot. I'll need to do that more auditions and more content, which I'm already on top of. So I feel like I'm already implementing that, but I want to make sure that I reinforce that with myself and with you so we don't lose sight of that, because that is the main focus. It should be the main focus. We're going to be more focused on building a base rather than building numbers. Content over easy contact is what my bullet point says. Our numbers for the blog this month were all about what I call easy contact, or I guess easy views. Because what we did is we were in share threads and click-through threads where we said, hey, click through this thread, click through this link. And if everybody participates in this, everybody's links get clicked and you click through another link and you develop page views or blog views. With me, I'm measuring just blog views in general, not necessarily page views. It's not rewarding. It's not rewarding us for our effort. All it's doing is giving us a number that we can throw out there. And I don't want this to be about proof. I don't want this to be about social proof, which is something you hear about in the blogging world a lot. Like, hey, look how many social media shares I've got. There's the social proof. Okay, that's a good gauge, if you've got a lot of followers and you have a lot of content and a lot of competition. I'm not so worried about that right now because I am not as established as some of these other people who are talking about their social proof. I want to start building that base. So then once we've built the base, we can start to build those social proofs and we can start to get more organic traffic or referral traffic outside of participating in some kind of share thread. I want that to be less about, just easy money. I'm going to call it easy money, easy views, and really attract people to our content. So that's going to be what I'm going to be focusing on as far as social media. And I've actually, and that kind of ties in with my next bullet point, I have a new perspective on the goals that I set last month and how I want to set them moving forward. I put in quotes here. I've been so focused on numbers that it didn't put any real growth into what we're doing. It was artificial growth, and I put in quotes here, paper tiger. We've heard the saying, paper tiger. It looks like a tiger, but if you blow on it, it's going to fall right over, and it just collapses. There's no real foundation there, or there's no real substance there to those numbers. They're just artificially inflated numbers, which, okay, I proved that I could get 500 views, but at what cost? So again, we're going to focus more on organic growth rather than forced growth, what I would say this is, because we're going to look big, but when it comes down to it, how big are we really? We've got the views, but do we have the following? Again, it goes back to the strategy about how do I build that base? How do I build that foundation? And I think with the shift in how we're doing content and the content that I'm trying to produce, I think that helps. But I do need to think about going back to, the strategies that I was trying to use for September to grow our social media base, going and following some people that, I think might be helpful, might have information that can help us. And a lot of times you'll get some follows in return. So I think that we can do that and start to network and connect. I need to use social media also more for awareness of what we're doing rather than just to grab numbers. Again, this month we focused on numbers. It was all about numbers, but how much awareness about what I'm doing and the content that I have? Am I really putting, or I guess gaining? How much awareness outside of my circle of influence am I really putting out there? And I don't think it's a lot. So we need to change how we're interacting on social media. We need to keep our content more relevant. And then we need to expand our content, but also keep that helpfulness of a blog in mind, because that's what a blog really is. A blog is a place to answer your questions. You Google something because you want the answer to something. Whether you think it's a question or not, you're trying to gain information and to answer something. We need to make sure that we can answer a question when we produce that content, which is why I'm considering things like this, recycling that information so that way it's more readily available. You don't have to sit through 17, 18 minutes of a video to get to it. We're going to talk about October's goals next week, and I haven't honestly sat down and really made those goals. But it's all going to be about strategy. We're going to shift our focus from let's build numbers, which there's a good argument for building numbers, especially if you're trying to gain revenue. Numbers equal revenue, especially when you're talking about affiliate programs and ads and things like that. The numbers is what pays you. But we need to grab a base so we can count on those numbers a little bit more. I don't want to spend an hour a night on Facebook clicking through links. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to spend a couple hours on the weekend, posting to different groups and then having to click through all these links. I don't want to do that. I'd rather spend that time creating something more useful for you rather than, some mindless clicking task that just benefits me. So it's really going to be about growing our base, focusing on both voiceover and t-shirts, and then content, which goes right into the voiceover and the t-shirts. I think that is going to be a very beneficial approach for us moving forward. And I'm not saying that, within 2 weeks of October, we're going to have so much influence and have that foundation built. It's going to be a hard road. I mean, we're 3 months in and we're still talking about building that foundation because we haven't quite got there yet. I think we're making good strides. We're experimenting, which is also important. When this first started, I was doing a lot of written content and decided, you know what? I'm better at the vlog concept anyway. So let's shift everything over to more of a vlog-based platform than a written platform. And I've made that transition very smoothly, I feel like. I've added some new content. I've gotten rid of some of the content that just isn't like the Thursday, it didn't have any direction. I would just talk about something, and some weeks I wouldn't even know what to talk about. So we've added some, more focused content. I'm going to be working on even more of that, today and over the next couple weeks with my working title project, Lab Work. I did some tests yesterday, excuse me, and it looks like it's going to work out pretty well. So I think the strategy is this, and if I'm just repeating myself, I apologize, but let's be clear. Goals are about strategy, focused, helpful, relevant content to what we're doing. Less about blog and more about, the voiceover, the t-shirts, showing you guys how some of the things that we do here get done and giving you some tools to be able to do something like this if this is what you want to do. Or maybe it's something fun that you just want to learn about. I want to help you along that journey. I don't want to be the only expert, though. So I think that's something I'm going to have to wrestle with because when I get to talking and the spotlight's on me, I want to be the center of attention. It's just who I am. So we'll have to really tread lightly there to make sure that, with the voiceover demo that I was trying to do and record, that we don't get back into that. Because that's definitely going to be there. So next week, we're definitely going to talk a lot more about what those strategies are because I'm really still trying to wrap my head around it. But I think we've talked about this before, but this whole reevaluating your mindset, it's an important thing to do when you're going through some kind of venture. I mean, this is what we're doing, and we've got multiple smaller ventures as part of our total journey. But if we're not constantly evaluating what we're doing and how we're looking at what we're doing, there's no room for growth. We're going to stay on that plateau, and 6 months from now, I'm still going to be talking about, I was on Facebook in this share thread for an hour yesterday, and I got us the views that we needed. There's no growth there. We're in the same spot. I'm telling you that we didn't earn anything for t-shirts, and I auditioned for a couple voiceover gigs. So whatever it is that your side hustle is, or your main hustle, if you're a small business owner, and that's how you make money. That's how you pay your bills. Constantly reevaluating your activities, your goals, your strategies is incredibly important. And I shouldn't have to tell you that. I'm surprised that my brain is just finally going click. Yeah, you got to reevaluate all the time. Because I think as human beings, we evaluate how we act. We evaluate how we speak to other people. What route we take to work. I mean, we do it constantly. So why wouldn't it be any different here? Why would we put ourselves in a rut if we're not growing, if we're not getting any better, or we're not improving what we're doing, we're not making any more money? So judge yourself. Judge yourself based on others. And then forget about that and judge yourself. Judge yourself based on what you've done. And then change it. If it's not working, change it. Get rid of it. Now, I'm not getting rid of anything right now. In fact, I there's a lot of content that I'm planning, and it's working out, and it's going to help us grow. But it doesn't mean that there hasn't been things that I haven't thrown out. Was it last week or the week before? I said, you got to cut the fat. It was the week before when I launched Workout Wednesday. You got to cut the fat. Make room for the new. Make room for the things that are going to help you and help your audience or your customers, whoever that may be. For me, it's an audience. For you, it may be a customer. But it's good. It's good. And I'm looking forward to the next quarter of operations because I think we're starting to get on the right track. All right, so enough of the introspective commentary. What do you want to call it? That's all we got for this week. So I want to thank you, but first I want to invite you to check out Workout Wednesday. Last week we did a little bit of script reading, courtesy of voices.com. Actually, very, very nice of them to allow me to use that. I reached out to them and said, "Hey, I want to read. I want to use your scripts. I don't want to claim ownership of them. I just want to use them and talk about them and interpret how they're going to help me move forward." And they were very gracious, like, "Yeah, absolutely, use them. Let us know. Let us know when you get it all posted, and we'd love to see your take on it." So that was great. Thank you, voices.com, for allowing me to do that, even though I'm not paying for my subscription or my membership there. Still very gracious. Workout Wednesday, the first 2 episodes are up. Next week, we're going to be doing what's called a narration script, and they're fantastical fairy tale type scripts, and I enjoyed reading those. So next Wednesday, check that out. Of course, as always, follow us on social media. I don't care about numbers anymore, but I don't know. There's still 2 days left of the month. Help us meet those goals. All right, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, Mix. I hope I didn't miss any because, again, I can't see the graphics. You can, but I can't. And as always, just be sure that you're following us here on From the Attic for any new content. Go back and read the written stuff that I did. I mean, it's not bad. I'm an okay writer. I'm not going to write the next great American novel, but maybe you'll gain something out of it. Maybe you won't. Who knows? All right. That's it. I am going to be in the lab most of the day today working on wonderful new content ideas for you guys, and we'll see how it goes. I'm Josh for 625 Media from the Attic. I am out. Happy Sunday. It's almost Halloween. See you later.